NFL executives are slamming the Buffalo Bills' decision to trade for wide receiver DJ Moore. I'm here to let them know they lost their mind. And on today's episode, we're going to finish it up by talking about another draft prospect. This time, Chris Brazzell out of Tennessee, wide receiver. Y'all know we're going to talk about it, break it all down, but you got to hear the music first.
Welcome to your number one spot for all NFL news and content, NFL Central.
What's going on, football fans? Welcome back in to another episode of NFL Central, your number one spot for everything NFL. I'm your host here, Bobby, and I'm holding it down for today's daily episode. So if you're tuned in, like what you're hearing today, regardless of who you root for on a daily basis, this is a place where you can come and talk football because you love the game. So hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. But hey, let's talk about these NFL execs slamming the Buffalo Bills for trading for wide receiver DJ Moore, who last played for the Chicago Bears. Now, I want you all to just follow me through some of these quotes. And there is a number of anonymous NFL execs who are coming out and blasting the Buffalo Bills for this decision, but on the flip side, praising the Denver Broncos for trading for wide receiver Jalen Waddle. So follow me. We're going to go through a number of quotes, and I'm going to provide a little bit of my personal experience as a Chicago Bears fan and just break this down and what it means for the Buffalo Bills and why I believe this was actually a good move for them. Let's start off with the first quote coming from an anonymous NFL executive. This executive said DJ Moore was going to get cut, and they gave up a second-round pick to get him. They gave up a second-round pick and $40 million in guarantees. What is going on? My response to this NFL exec, number one, the Chicago Bears were not going to cut DJ Moore if they couldn't move off of him. There was still a way that they could have retained him, and that could have been with some type of restructuring of his contract. I don't think that cutting him was on the table. They understood that he still had value and that they can absolutely move him or retain him instead of just cutting him loose, which would have made no sense. I think that this NFL exec needs to look in the mirror. Let's talk about the next NFL executive who had something to say anonymously. This second one said DJ Moore has 2 years of regression now. He is a non-traditional receiver that wins with size and yards after the catch. I still feel they needed someone that could win down the field. Moore can do that. He did it to beat Green Bay, but I feel like his strength is on the underneath catch and run stuff, which they already have with Khalil Shakur. Now, this is a little bit more this is a statement that brings a little bit more context, which I'm not going to really say that it's totally bad, but I want to talk about the first line in all of this. 2 years of regression. Okay, if you're just watching the stats, you can go out there and say that about DJ Moore. You know what I mean? But I want to provide context of my own when it comes to the 2 years that this executive is saying that DJ Moore had regression. So 3 years ago, when DJ Moore was paired with Justin Fields, he was awesome. After that, Justin Fields get traded from the Chicago Bears, inserts Caleb Williams. And I will agree with the exec that it did not look the prettiest in that first year with Caleb Williams, but let's also provide more context. The offensive coordinator at that time was by a guy by the name of Shane Waldron. And while he was supposed to be building out this offense and helping his young quarterback in Caleb Williams, he was on the sideline laughing while the Chicago Bears were losing a football game. That's how crazy he was as Shane Waldron. A guy that's going to be laughing on the sideline While everybody's ticked off trying to figure out what's going on with the offense, this guy is laughing like it's time to go get an ice cream cone from McDonald's. Let's go on to the last quote, and then I'll provide more context throughout this whole entire thing. The third executive said the better player would have been to trade for Jalen Waddle, who was traded to the Denver Broncos. Landing Waddle was far more expensive, but the real issue might have been the Miami Dolphins' reluctance to trade within the division, which is a fair thing to talk about when it comes to the trade for DJ Moore and Jalen Waddle. So let's break this thing down more fairly, at least in my opinion. Number one, if you want to go out there and say that Jalen Waddle was better than DJ Moore, fine. I'm not going to sit there and argue back and forth with you, but I believe DJ Moore is simply the better wide receiver. Now, it's going to come down more to this route running and speed because that's what some people are going to lean on. I'm going to lean on what my eyes tell me. The more physical player is DJ Moore. The more healthier player is DJ Moore. The guy that has better hands is DJ Moore. The guy that is better after the catch is DJ Moore. The guy that can come up more in the clutch is DJ Moore. DJ Moore, in my opinion, if you don't look at the stats and watch the games, he's better than Jalen Waddle. Just my opinion. Now let's talk about the Buffalo Bills trading for DJ Moore and the Denver Broncos trading for Jalen Waddle. First and foremost, the assets that were given out. A guy like Jalen Waddle gets traded for a first, a third, and a fourth round pick. In 2024, he put up 744 yards, 2 touchdowns, 58 receptions with Tua Tagovailoa. In 2025, he did improve, 910 yards, 6 touchdowns, 64 receptions. Not bad. But for a first, a third, and a fourth, you can miss me with that, and I will argue that A.J. Brown would have been the better guy to give that package to than Jalen Waddle. At best, second-round pick worthy like DJ Moore, who last year in an offense, I'm going to provide the context, in an offense that is led by Ben Johnson to spread the ball around, not focus on the 2 outside receivers that maybe touch up on a tight end and a wide receiver, but to spread the ball around. DJ Moore had 50 receptions, 682 yards with 6 touchdowns. The year prior, 98 receptions, 966 yards, and 6 touchdowns. So there is not much of a big difference between Jalen Waddle and DJ Moore. They clearly overpaid for a wide receiver that is maybe a tad better than DJ Moore according to the stats in the last 2 seasons. But let's bring more context into this. Jalen Waddle, prior to the last 2 seasons, he was pretty much forgot about. Yeah, we understood that he had talent and whatnot, but DJ Moore, prior to 2024, he was playing with Justin Fields, Sam Darnold before he got good, a couple other Carolina Panther quarterbacks, and they wasn't on the level of Tua Tagovailoa, and that ain't saying much if we keeping it above. He had the better offensive coordinator throughout his entire career in Miami, minus last year in a spread out offense. So I think that while some of these execs are putting this out there and trying to slam the Buffalo Bills for this decision, I think the better deal and the better move was the Buffalo Bills trading for DJ Moore, who still has a lot in the tank and who is going to be an integral piece for the Buffalo Bills, more so than watching Jalen Waddle go to the Denver Broncos. Now, there could be discussions to say who's going to have the better season, and I think that is fair to have. Now, if Jalen Waddle goes out there and ball out, cool. I'm cool with that over there in Denver. But let's not forget that they have a lot of other weapons out there that's going to eat as well, while DJ Moore is going to be him, couple tight ends, and Cook. And then you think about all the wide receivers over there with the Denver Broncos. So it made more sense for the Buffalo Bills to go out and get this one player on a better deal who is basically better, in my opinion. If you want to give it to Jalen Waddle, that's fair. I just think DJ Moore is just better than him. And not everything has to be let's go out there and open this thing up and run go routes all the time. What about the inside? What about the in route? What about routes to the sideline? What about the underneath stuff, which plays into the strengths of DJ Moore more so than the strengths of Jalen Waddle? That's just how it goes. I don't know what's going on with my chest. But I still think that to harshly criticize the Buffalo Bills when they got a really good deal and not have to cough up so many assets, it makes more sense to go after a wide receiver like DJ Moore when you need positional help, literally. And we know they're going to run the rock with Cook. We know they're going to feature Dawson Knox and Dalton Kincaid. And DJ Moore is the perfect outside guy that's going to be able to mix some things around. And you didn't even know if they was to quote unquote cut him that he would have been interested to go there. So you had to go out there and strike. You had to go out there and say, damn, only a second round pick. Come on. He's a really good wide receiver. Maybe not top 5. I'm not going to be delusional about it. But let's not act like this man has not shown up for the Chicago Bears since he got there. Showed up for the Carolina Panthers after the revolving door of quarterbacks that play there. More so than Jalen Waddle. Y'all let me know how y'all feeling about that one. It's an interesting one, and I think it's fun to talk about. That's just me personally. Now, before we get up out of here, I want to talk about a wide receiver prospect that is going to be in the NFL draft. We are 20 days away from day 1 of the NFL draft, first round, and I want to talk about wide receiver coming out of Tennessee, Chris Brazzell. He comes in at 6'4", 198 pounds, and ran a 4.37 40-yard dash. Started his collegiate career out with Tulane. In the last few seasons, played with the Tennessee Volunteers in the SEC. In 2024, he had 29 receptions, 333 yards, and just 2 touchdowns. In a larger role in 2025, my man Chris Brazzell put up in 12 games, 62 receptions, 1,017 yards, and had 9 touchdowns. What I really like about this player, man, he has great hands and great catch radius, a great catch radius. And I feel like he can go out there and snag footballs out of the air with some of the best of them coming out of this draft. I'm not going to be delusional and say he's better than Carnell Tate and Mekhi Lemon, but I think that this is a really good wide receiver that can fit on a number of teams that need wide receiver help. And one thing I like about him is the route running ability. Could it clean up a little bit? I will absolutely say that it can get cleaned up a little bit more with his route running ability, because in the NFL, you're going to be facing off versus better defensive backs with better technique and more experience, so he can improve in that area. But I like that sometimes he can come in across the middle of the field catching traffic. He can go out there and go outside on a go route and stack on top of the defensive back to gain the edge down the field. And I just think that he comes in with a lot of different things that make him a really good fit for any football team. There's a number of teams that he's been mocked to. A lot of people see him going in round 2, 2, 3. And I think you can't go wrong with taking a chance on a guy like this. I know there are some of my Bears people that want to possibly see if the Bears can reach for him. And I also seen others like the New York Giants potentially take him in some mock drafts or whatnot. But I think this is a really good prospect who comes in with a lot of stuff. You know what I'm saying? 198, 6'4", runs a 4.37 is very, very impressive. It seemed like he's not going to be a guy that's going to truck a lot of people, but he plays a physical style of football, in my opinion, especially when he catches the ball. He can make it hard for defenders to tackle him, and he comes in with a little bit of swag. How can you be mad at swag? When you go ahead and get 9 touchdowns in a season, you're going to see a lot of dancing. You're going to see a lot of grooving. So do your thing, young man. I think this is an intriguing prospect, and I love what he brought to the Tennessee Volunteers, man. It was fun watching his film. Fun watching him come across the middle of the field, go on the outside of the hashes, and make it very, very interesting, to say the least, when watching some of his tape. But hey, man, y'all let me know how y'all feeling about Chris Brazzell, 6'4", 198 pounds, 4.37 40-yard dash, coming out of Tennessee. Tennessee. Y'all ever heard that joke? Baby, you must be from Tennessee because you the only Tennessee. Yeah, it's kind of corny, but I get it though. Nonetheless, let's go ahead and end it off on this note, man. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell as well, man. That is it for me today. I appreciate y'all. Make sure you always love football, and y'all already know we're going to catch y'all on the next one for sure.
This has been a presentation of the Breaks Media.